All right, here we go. And we're live. Today is the last trading day of July, and this afternoon is the Fed meeting. We also had some more companies reporting earnings yesterday, most notable Microsoft and AMD. And this morning, the tech rally is still on. So, what happened here with Microsoft and AMD? We will talk about this. Plus, we'll show you our trades. And we had a new signal in WTF today, and we'll let you know what we did with that. With that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. And today is Wednesday, July 31st. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. And oh boy, Mark, look at this. We talked about it, how over the past few days, the S&P 500 was kind of trapped between the 50-day moving average and the 5,500 level. And this morning, boom, up what, how much? And we're 1.5% decisively trading above 5,500 so far.
Sure. And quite a move considering that it is Fed Day and the Fed will be wrapping up its 2 day policy meeting. And usually that can cause some fireworks. But early on, fireworks, uh, well, there we go with the economic calendar. We also had some jobs data, but that really wasn't the mover this morning or the
Now,
catalyst.
I mean, we knew it on the economic calendar or not the earnings calendar. I mean, this is where we talked about that we have more of the magnificent seven reporting earnings. Last week, we had Tesla and Google was disappointing. And then we had Microsoft. We also have some more this week. But yesterday, I think the two most notable ones, Microsoft and AMD. And boy, there's a tale of two stories, right?
Yeah, I think we should look at Microsoft first because that was kind of the expected to be the bigger of the two. I think at least for most investors, with it being a mega cap stock and part of the Magnificent Seven there. And Microsoft reported better than expected earnings, also better than expected revenue, uh, and they had some disappointing results from their cloud business. So that's left Microsoft lower for the day.
And that's kind of the same story with Google. I mean, Google kind of increased their cloud business a little bit last week, but this is where everybody is expecting, come on, I mean, just blow it out of the water. We are still in the AI hype. Or wait, are we not? And this is where Google said, okay, their cloud-based business increased by, I don't know, was it even single digits or something like this, right? Well, NVIDIA and gang are always reporting, oh yeah, we're doubling and tripling, and they were like single digits. And the same with Microsoft yesterday, overall beating earnings. But yesterday, after they reported earnings, they were down as much as 10%.
Yeah, it was surprising just to see how bad it was looking. But Microsoft was in the spotlight, but really it was AMD that stole the show.
AMD stole the show yesterday. AMD, look at this, up 5%. They were up as much as 10%. But I mean, AMD just reported great earnings.
Exactly. So AMD and earnings beat, revenue beat, and they also raised its full year forecast revenue from their GPU chips for artificial intelligence data centers. And that seems to be the whole focus here because it's all about AI. And it looked like there was some profit taking. I mean, NVIDIA was down more than 20% from highs going into today's open, but with that new surge in AI, everything AI was moving higher.
And just like this, if we are looking at the heat map, yesterday we talked about it. Is this pullback in tech an investment opportunity? And this morning, you got confirmation. I mean, we just have to. I mean, overall on the heat map, we see Nvidia up, Apple up, Google up, Meta up, Amazon, Tesla up, Microsoft down, as we said. But the sector that really stands out this morning is the technology sector, and within the technology sector, it is the semiconductors. Nvidia up 10%, Broadcom up 8.75%. AMD up 5%, Qualcomm up 4%. I mean, this is right now just skyrocketing.
Yeah, huge move there.
So, and this is where we see this morning, looking at the markets, if we take a look at the indices overall, we see, all right, talking about rotation back into AI stocks and tech, the NASDAQ leading the way this morning, up 2.5%, the S&P up 1.5%, and the money is being taken out of IWM, the Russell, only up 0.6%, the Dow up 0.4%. That is kind of what I would expect to see going into the Fed meeting for this afternoon, right? I mean, this slightly up, diddling along, but no, I mean, now the AI excitement is back with AMD. Who knew? A little AMD leading the way here.
Yeah, and just like that, we're breaking to the upside out of that range above 5,500 in the S&P, and then we turn to the Fed and what's going to happen this afternoon, a couple hours away from that Fed statement, where it's not expected the Fed's going to uh, you know surprise anybody, but it's the wording, right? And even the wording, will they share some clues as to whether or not September is the month for the first cut? I don't think that the Fed's going to be overly optimistic and make it seem like September is the month. But definitely starting to say that, hey, a cut is coming.
Yeah, and this right, it's all about okay, no surprises today. That's what it's all about. So we have at 1 o'clock Central Time the FOMC statement, and then followed by the press conference 30 minutes later of Powell. And here is what traders are expecting right now. So if you look at Fed funds traders, right now it is expected that the Fed will not do anything at this meeting, but that they start lowering interest rates in the September meeting. And traders just want confirmation for this bias that they have here and hear it from Powell himself and the gang that they say, yes, we are encouraged by the progress of inflation coming down. We are keeping an eye on the jobs market because we see that it is softening. And therefore, we feel that it is, I mean, you know how he says it, that with further watching the data, it might be appropriate to think about the possibility of lowering interest rates or loosening the restrictive policy later this year, something like this. So there will be a lot of fancy words. And of course, we'll break it down into easy words for you tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, today it's all about no surprises. So, Paul, don't surprise us because then we'll be just fine.
That would be good.
All right, looking at the months, I mean, July was an interesting month for the indices. And right now, just like this, if we stay up like this, the S&P will be positive for the month with 1.19%. So we'll see if we can finish positive. The Nasdaq, on the other hand, still down 1%. And again, this looked much, much different yesterday. And we see that the Dow nicely up 4.7% for the month. And then the Russell, the winner here of this rotation that we saw in July, up 10% for the month. So, I mean, this just shows July was rocky. July, the rotation started into the good old value stocks and into small and mid cap stocks.
That's so true. It's the picture is painted.
All right. Let's take a look at our positions and see what is happening here. And let's take a look at the new position. Today, we had a new position. NVDA popped up on the scanner. And this is where let's see, here we are. The entry at 112.90 and NVIDIA right now trading at 114.83. Mark, what did you do? Did you take it?
I was on the fence with this one because technically this was a trade according to my plan, and I should have bought shares at the open. And looking at the open, seeing NVIDIA was up so much, gapping almost 10%. The gap had me a little bit unsettled, and then also knowing that we had the Fed, I decided that because of the large gap, it's possible that we gap higher, and at the end of the day, there's a signal to close for tomorrow. right? And if that happens, then it could be that it's a nice quick win. You make a couple bucks and it's a nice 1 day trade, which we love. But if instead it gaps higher and then there's a pullback after the Fed, then it would be ideal to do an open below entry and to enter on a pullback instead. So I was assuming that it's probably going to be a 1 day trade, but because of the potential dip, if it's not, I decided to wait.
Long story short, I did the same. So this is not according to plan. NATP. Yep. The reason why not? Overthinking. And it happens, right? I mean, I had very similar thoughts. I saw it this morning. I saw that it was massively up. I saw that AMD is up. And then we see that often when we have a huge gap like this, that it is trying to fill the gap, as we see right now with AMD. I mean, we were higher as much as 10%, right now up 6%. And this is where we thought, all right, you know what? Maybe there's an opportunity, especially after the shakeout this morning and then this afternoon, to maybe enter NVDA open below entry. And it's a possibility. We'll see. It could be a 1 day trade. If you took it, great. Good for you. You're probably up right now, around 1.5% or something like this. Not bad at all. And we'll see where we finish for the end of the day. So NATP, not according to plan. We did not take the trade. And our open trades are doing fairly well. So first up, AMAT today up 5%. So this is looking good. Still a little bit underwater here, but we added to the position. So we don't need AMD to go all the way up towards our entry point. I haven't checked this morning. Let me just double check to see where my cost basis is. So my cost basis is at 216. So we're still a little bit underwater, but at least we don't need to go all the way up to 222. So with 216, liking this. AMD, again, this morning as high as 10%, being stopped here by the 200-day moving average. I mean, AMD, what the heck? Just slice through. Come on. Keep moving higher. Keep doing this. Here, my cost basis is at 159. So we're still a bit away. So we need to go up all the way here. And we were almost there this morning. We're almost there this morning.
Yeah, let's see if we get another surge.
Okay. CEG, that is a trade that you entered. I didn't. Yes. And boom, up 10% this morning.
Yeah.
Nice.
Huge move. I got in at 175.08 as a OBE trade.
Trading at 185. That's like what, a 7-8% gain for you?
Sure.
Something like this. All right. Then we have Google. We both entered Google, and this morning opening higher, pulling back a little bit, but still up 1%. So this looking nicely. We entered at 167. Right now trading at 172-ish, somewhere like there. So we'll see. This might be another possible exit tomorrow. We'll see what we get from the PowerX optimizer. Then we also have Honeywell, and Honeywell having a good day today. So we entered it at 203, right now trading at 205.54. So nicely above our entry. Another profitable trade here. Possibly another exit tomorrow. So it seems that we might get rid of some of these candidates that we have had here for a while. Tomorrow, we'll see. And again, we have this the Fed meeting this afternoon. So nobody knows what's going to happen. And then we have MU, and MU today having a fantastic day, up 7.4%. Did we? I didn't trade it. You traded this one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I did. I think I did an add too. My entry on this one was 111.
111. Okay, good. So you're almost there, breaking even. So we'll see. It could be that tomorrow we exit a couple of trades profitably. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that one. Hopping over to our wheel positions. First up, CSIQ. CSIQ up this morning, 2.9%, and CSIQ could move. I think First Solar, FSLR, reported earnings. Let's see what First Solar is doing here this morning. Oh, they reported earnings yesterday, so they're still up this morning. I thought that they might have done it, but hey, up 2.8%. I'll take it. And CSIQ, interest rate sensitive. So we'll see what happens this afternoon when Powell is speaking and when we have the Fed statement. Halliburton. Look at this. You want to
Nice
comment on this
move.
one? Not really.
Nice move. Yeah, I sold the 3450s, and Marcus, you have a 3450 put still. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. So I need to see if I can actually close this right now. It is at 56% of max profits. So we'll see what happens by Friday. I'm not able to close it yet. I like to close it at 90% of max profits. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is where I was looking at what the credit would be if we were to roll, or if I was to roll. And right now 31 cents. So not enough for me to roll yet, but something that I will be considering tomorrow and Friday.
All right, KSS calls. Look at this. Calls.
Nice.
I mean, this is where I was assigned at 2150. I already sold the 2150 calls against half of my position. Now I'm shooting for the 23. Let's take a look and see where we are if you're going to the calculator. For the 23, we have this morning. Whoa,
Nice.
12 by 15. Okay, this is great. This is 67% annualized. So I will sell those after the show here. I'll see if I can get anywhere between 12 and 15. I would love to be able to get 14. I mean, if I could get 14 cents on this one, wow. This would be 78% annualized. But what's even more important, because I'm only doing it, I'm doing it for the other half position, and I got assigned at 21.50, so I'm making $1.50. So on the stock alone, I'll make $7,200. I like this. I'll sell this.
That works.
I will do that. That works really nice and well. And then we have our little buddy UPS, and our little buddy UPS is a little bit all over the place today, and right now turned positive again. Come on, UPS, move higher. Time for you to make a move.
Now is the time. Interesting to see a drop in the first 10 minutes of the day, but then claw its way back and now positive. So I like where it's headed at this point.
Yes, definitely. All right. So in a moment, we will take a look at where stocks are right now, especially the indices, if we are still up or if you're pulling back, because in a few hours we have the Fed meeting. And it is the time of the day in the show where we tell you some really bad jokes and hope that you can crack a smile before we go back to the markets. And Mark, what do you have this morning for us?
Some really bad jokes. I like that.
bad jokes.
All right, Marcus. Do you know why you should buy wind chimes?
Nope.
Hell if I know. No, I'm kidding. All right. So the reason you should buy wind chimes is because they're a pretty sound investment.
Okay. All right. I can see that. All right. So I read an interesting statistic yesterday that 90% of bald people still own a comb. They just can't part with it.
That's pretty good too. What you saying, Marcus?
If you
what you saying?
Comb, it means that you can't part with it. All right, let's go back to a 5-minute chart, and you guys vote which joke was the better one. And look at this. We are still trading at highs of the day for the S&P 500. We are still trading at highs of the day for the NASDAQ. We are still trading at highs of the day for the Dow, and also diddling along here a little bit in the Russell. So it seems that the small caps are today not seeing any love, and I'm not surprised, because when we looked at the heat map, we see very clearly who sees some love today, and it is the technology, specifically the semiconductors. So We are, 2 hours and 40 minutes away from the Fed decision. And I believe that there will be a reaction one way or another. Don't you think that, I mean, the Fed statement, I mean, this will overshadow a little bit what happened this morning.
I think that we're going to get a reaction because I think that the Fed is, Powell's going to keep his cool, but I think that there's going to be some comments that just get the market moving.
Yeah. Either way, you don't want to miss the show tomorrow when we talk about the Fed statement and how our market's reacting. We'll dissect what Powell said in very simple, easy words. And instead of watching the 40-minute interview with Powell here, the Q&A, the press conference, we'll give it to you in 2 or 3 minutes. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning. Make also sure that you vote for the worst joke today. So leave a comment below. Give us a like. We always appreciate your likes. And if you feel that this was information worth sharing, please do. There's a share button right underneath. And with that said, you don't want to miss it. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.